If you clicked on this video, I imagine you want to get better with AI. Maybe you heard people talk about how it's transforming their productivity or running their digital lives. But you're still sitting here wondering, how the fuck is that even possible? Well, in this video, I'm going over the 4-step prompting format that took me from AI amateur to generating amazing results and saving me hours each week. But before we get to that, I need to stop you before you make the massive mistake that will make this whole format just fall apart. And that's treating it like it's Google. Google is designed to take your search query and serve up a bunch of web pages similar to your search. But AI has an extra dimension. It's designed to understand the intent behind the word that you're saying, and it's generating answers based off data that it's been trained off. So vague prompts like marketing plan ideas might have worked great with Google, but not with AI, because it needs to know a little bit more about your situation to give you the best results. So to take a Google lunatic like you and turn you into an AI prompting wizard, we need to first look at the persona. AIs like ChatGPT are smart. When they were being developed, they used a lot of data, like a lot. So when you put in a prompt like marketing plan ideas, it will search its entire knowledge base to give you the best answer it can. But this means that it'll only give you a brief glance over of the topic, because not only is it looking at marketing, it's also looking at things like business and kind of like adjacent topics around that. So to narrow it down to just look at something like marketing, we need to give it a persona. Marketing advice from a Stoic philosopher would be a lot different from that of a CMO. So when we specifically tell the AI that you are a CMO, it will immediately disregard any sort of training data or information outside that specific scope of knowledge. It's like saying, don't just tell me what you know generally, tell me what a CMO would know about this. And as you can imagine, that gives you much better results. But to sharpen the results even further and ensure that we're getting advice hand-tailored to our situation, we need to give it some context. And this is specific information around what you're doing and why you're doing it. Think about the goals of this prompt, why you're doing this task. And if you give it this information, it will spit out a response that is perfectly suited to fulfilling this task. If we were to say, I'm a 17-year-old building an AI SaaS startup, and I want to grow my user base through content-based marketing, now it knows my age, my niche, what I'm doing it for, and like the kind of general vibe I want to go for while I'm doing it. So there's very little room for it to suggest strategies that won't at least be somewhat useful to my situation. And this next part of the formula is the simplest, but also the easiest to screw up because of the massive mistake that I used to make every single time and absolutely destroyed the results. You might think that more information equals a much better output. And you'd be right, because the more information the AI has to go off, the more it can tailor advice to your situation. But this is not a research report. You won't get better results for using fancy words or complex language choices. In fact, when you try to buff up your prompt by giving it more information than it might need, or using words that are a little bit complex, you run the risk of contradicting yourself or the AI not knowing which parts of the prompt are the most important. So clear, succinct instructions are the key. This is the kind of prompt you want to avoid. I want to grow my AI SaaS startup using YouTube, but I'm not really sure where to start. I kind of want to focus on practical topics, but also maybe some theory. I want to grow a community and maybe make some sales, but I don't want to be too salesy. Any thoughts on what kind of content to make or how to go about it? Also, should I care about thumbnails and titles, or is that less important? I've had mixed advice, so I'm not really sure. But the second one, how can I grow my AI SaaS through YouTube? I need practical content ideas, growth strategies, and tips for audience building, including thumbnails, titles, and CTAs that drive conversions. That is the kind of thing that will get you the best results. And the 4th step in this process will take it to the next level, because it's the difference between prompts that get you good results and the ones that will save you years of your life. And that is to give guardrails to the AI's response. If you want the AI to use credible sources from a specific niche, tell it. If you want the AI to structure the response with proper dot points, tell it. If you've got an example, even better. Because when you start adding guidelines to how the AI can respond, you're not just retrieving information anymore. You're sculpting results that will put you way ahead of everyone else who pretends that they know how to use AI. So before, you were going around with typing with your two pointer fingers, asking the chef to make a meal with no recipe. Maybe you got squid in risotto, maybe a sus looking steak. But now, with this prompting method, you're basically hiring a personal chef and asking them to make me a high protein breakfast for a 22-year-old basketball player who wants to optimize performance. That is a recipe for success. But if despite all your newfound AI mastery, you're still struggling to find deep, focused work, in this video, I shared the exact blueprint that helped me cut my unproductive screen time by over 80%. So you should go have a look at that.